Okay, we're ready.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Not Us podcast, hosted by two sisters, myself, Angela, and that hottie over there, my sister, Sam, where we talk about change and choices, and we celebrate all those messy bits in between.
We're not doctors, therapists, gurus, or witches. The opinions and stories expressed in this episode are our own for entertainment only and subjected to change. Swearing is likely, and please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Swearing is highly likely with this episode. But before we talk about our filthy mouths, subscribe was the sound my sister made. And that's to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed. We really appreciate you. And please keep doing that and share with your friends if you like it. And it's just great to connect with you, our little community that's growing every week. So we're really grateful for that. Back to our potty mouths. What do we have lined up for today?
Well, we are speaking about, love. As you can see, we're both wearing hearts on our jerseys, or our jumpers.
I'm giving it all the heart jewelry, heart earrings, heart ring, red underwear. I'm just giving it full heart vibes because I'm pro Valentine's Day. Well, not quite. I don't call it Valentine's Day. I call it Love Day. I'm pro Love Day. And as for Grumpy over there, that's another whole topic.
Okay, someone's really excited about this particular topic. This is going to be interesting because Angela's bouncing off the walls all about love. Mm-hmm. And I'm not grumpy. I am just a little more contained about the topic.
Twisted and bitter. No, I'm kidding. You're not. You are the voice of reason in my water sign crazy.
We'll establish what your vibe is and what my vibe is throughout this episode. So don't give it all away, sis.
So if you're still guessing, if you're still trying to figure out, this is our ode to Valentine's Day.
This girl is on sugar, I'm telling you now.
She's on sugar. Want to be a zinger. We haven't even had the tequila yet. we should maybe start with the tequila to calm out.
I don't even know where to go from this line with you. Okay, let's just calm down. Calm down.
This is where she tries to control me, control the situation. So, Valentine's Day, 14th of February. Half of you are potentially in wild panics about whether you have, in fact, got your significant other something suitable for Valentine's Day. Maybe you've gone to the shop just to get your normal roses and seen that they are 7 times the price that they were the week before. Or perhaps you are in the camp that's dreading Valentine's Day completely. Or you're going to some girl's party where you're going to beat up a piñata and hate on Valentine's Day. Which camp are you in? Let us know. Are you camp Valentine's Day or not?
You're clearly speaking to our listeners now, right? Let them quickly phone in. Okay. So Valentine's Day. It's one of those holidays that people are divided on. Either pro it, or you are anti it, or maybe you are somewhere in between. Now, clearly, Angela is all for it. Although you did say you don't call it Valentine's Day. What do you call it?
Love Day. It's a day in the year that you can just celebrate love. And that doesn't have to be romantic, although it is obviously mostly commercially a day about love. But I call it Love Day.
Well, why do you have to rename it?
Shall I pull us back to the history of Valentine's Day here, just to show that I've actually done some homework? Although most of you will associate it with Saint Valentine's, it actually goes back beyond that to ancient Rome, particularly to a festival called Lupercalia, which was celebrated in mid-February. But later on, it got linked to Saint Valentine, who was a Christian martyr who lived during the Roman Empire. Now, it's actually quite a lovely story because one of the most popular legends is that St. Valentine defied the Roman emperor. He had a ban on marriages for young men because he believed that single men made better soldiers. So Valentine continued to perform marriages in secret, and for that he was eventually executed. All good stories have a tragic ending, it seems. But yeah, later on, it got known as the Romantic Day because it was believed that birds started to pair up in mid-February, which further cemented the idea of love and romance. And of course, in the 18th century, the Valentine's Day cards became a tradition that has become widely spread.
And now it's being commercialized, and you're either in one camp or another. Okay.
Or you don't have rats.
Right. Have you always been pro Valentine's or pro Love Day? What's your first Valentine's memory?
I tried to think about that earlier, actually. And oh my God, my memory is, I don't know what I did yesterday. Actually, I have to think about it. But I do remember at school that the excitement and the thrill of if you got a Valentine's Day letter from someone, because we used to write letters back in the Stone Ages. And she's flipping. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see her starting to giggle and laugh every time I talk about my age. Anyway, so I do remember that and the thrill and the fun. And of course, then the trauma if you didn't get as many letters as everyone else. But I wouldn't say that I'm like specifically pro Valentine's Day because I don't like all of the cheesy cliche. But then it would be like saying I don't like Christmas or I don't like Easter or something like that. I just love a day to celebrate something. So if this day on the 14th is a day where you can express love, if that's to my romantic partner or express love to anyone really, then I love it. So I like those days, and I think it's nice for us as humans to have an excuse to have a celebration.
I agree. I too thought about Valentine's Day and how whether or not my feelings have changed or views have changed about Valentine's Day. I remember that when we were small, my mom would always give us Valentine's Day cards up until maybe high school, even in high school. And of course, when we were younger, it was from mom and then it was unmarked or whatever it is. For me, it's never really been a significant day. I remember in high school, a little bit after the Stone Ages, there would be this big delivery of flowers or chocolates. And I remember sitting and praying that I would not get anything. Of course, I wanted something, maybe, but just the embarrassment of having a secret admirer or receiving a rose or chocolates and being asked about it was a no for me.
I mean, this just begs me to ask the question about how comfortable you are with big expressions, public expressions of love in general. And she's got
there's no issue. I'm just looking at you like, why the fuck would you go there?
Because I feel like this is to do with not Valentine's Day, but actually, I'm wondering why big expressions or any kind of public display of affection, of love in that way makes you awkward.
Oh, it makes me
like if you were on an island with your partner and there was no one else around and they did something that was cheesy and cute for you, would you be as cringy as if you were in the world where social media can display it?
The panic just of the question. I'm a really confident, capable person, but right now I'm feeling like I do not like public displays. For me, like love and expression of love is personal.
Mhm.
So, and not, yeah, it's like I'm not one for displays. It makes me incredibly uncomfortable, and I cringe at anything that feels expected, or I've seen that 1,000 times, or like, okay, this is low key effort.
Mhm.
Back to the gifts, same thing with gifts. Like,
It's the
thought
same
about
thing.
these,
Thing.
and so anything that feels like I've seen it on a rom-com, everyone does it, it's expected. Not for me. Not for me. I find that cringy. So if I was on an island and my significant other was doing something that was expected and I've seen 1,000 times, it would still be cringe. Yeah. But put like an audience around that and I die 1,000 deaths, and I
And
really don't know how to emotionally show up because like this is awkward for me.
so basically, if anyone is thinking of proposing to my sister anytime in the future, don't do it in a big open public space.
Please, you do not rent out a stadium and have cameras and every person I ever met hiding in the bleachers, like how Kanye West did with Kim Kardashian. Not me, because that has just removed my choice. What happens if I want to say no?
Exactly.
Would you like a big, expressive declaration of love?
No, I have other preferences. But what I do like to keep in mind is that if someone is doing any act of love, they've thought about what could be the most wonderful experience for you, and they go to so much effort to make it special and incredible. The scale of it can probably be discussed, but if they've done it from a pure heart of love and their intention is good, then I have to kind of put my own bias and awkwardness aside to let them have that moment of giving. Those moments are not just about us. It's not just about the receiving. There's someone is giving as well. And so, like, the giver might not always get it perfectly right, but it's the pressure that we put on these significant days that I think that people lose their mind and can't think about what the right essence might be there, like Valentine's Day in this instance. So someone goes, oh my God, I have to get my partner something for Valentine's Day because it's Valentine's Day, and they're seeing red roses everywhere and chocolates. Like, maybe your partner is actually allergic to chocolate and hates red roses. Don't get that for them. Do something else. What do they like? Get them a kitten. No, don't.
And she's taking advice from Elizabeth Taylor over here, who's been married multiple times to both men and women. She has a lot of experience.
And that is a great segue. Do you know what I heard in asking people? I'm just going to ignore the insult. In asking people about Valentine's Day, it was something that Nathan said to me last year, which was super surprising. For those who are listening for the first time, Nathan is my love partner, my partner in love. But when it was around Valentine's Day, he said, but Valentine's Day is a time for men to give gifts to women. I was like, sorry, what? It was like, yeah, he doesn't expect anything. It was that like chivalry thing. That's the time for men to show women their love. And so I actually asked a couple of my male friends about this yesterday because I thought, is it a cultural thing? Asked a friend of mine from Trinidad. He was like, oh yeah, no, his wife has never given him a Valentine's gift. They've been together since they were like kids, but he always gets her flowers or something. It's definitely a male thing. And I'm like, okay, well, I've been in relationships with women for the last 20 odd years. And we've both given each other gifts. What are your thoughts on that, sis?
Well, I think that's going to be an interesting comment for our listeners to actually provide insight on. It's quite interesting in 2026 that we still have, and it's a world apart from my dating history in being mainly with women. So I wouldn't know if, I don't know how to feel about like this being what the guys do, because do men need to have a particular day to show up as loving and kind and romantic and whatever? Maybe it's valid, like there's relevance to that, or it gives them a opportunity to express that. So I don't know, but it's interesting to hear that point of view, that some men feel that it's their day of expressing their appreciation and love towards their significant other. From a girl on girl perspective, it's mutual, and I have never given or even thought of giving a man any kind of flowers or chocolates or anything along those lines. So at least now I know, if I was expanding my options into that territory, the pressure's off. I don't need to go and buy chocolates because it's what the boys do.
Have you ever done Valentine's Day? I mean, how have you traditionally done it, considering that you said in a girl on girl? We've just received a whole new audience, by the way. This is not a adult episode for anyone who's just tuned in. As my sister said, the words girl on girl.
Did I say girl on girl?
You did. It's not that kind of podcast.
It is that kind of podcast.
Absolutely that kind of podcast.
I'm sorry that we haven't discussed that previously. It is that kind of podcast. We accept all expressions here. And we've had all expressions here. Just ask Elizabeth Taylor, my co-host.
Oh my God. Okay, so
Valentine's,
you want me to do Valentine's Day?
No. So in my relationships, I am big on celebrating our love on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And so we probably didn't go out for Valentine's Day, but there would always be a card or gifts or chocolates or just something between us, but not necessarily like rushing off for dinner. And then even in my long-term relationship, which was 18 years, we celebrated our relationship monthly. The 25th of the month was our day to acknowledge our relationship. So there was less need for Valentine's Day. But I would say that later on in our relationship, we warmed up to the idea of doing something on Valentine's Day because life got busier. Careers became more demanding. So we weren't necessarily pausing on a monthly basis to witness our relationship. And so Valentine's Day did become a little bit more significant to us in terms of just pausing and doing something special. Whether it was on the 14th or the 13th or the 15th, we were less strict with that.
I think you've nailed it. It's the same as like Mother's Day or Father's Day. You hope that throughout the year, you're celebrating your mother or your father or whoever that person is who cared for you. That it's not just one day, but it is that one day in the year when we go, we're just going to highlight you. And I think that is a little bit where we've got lost in this Valentine's narrative, where people get in a full panic about how much they spend, what they do, how they express it. You can't find a booking in a restaurant for anything. It's just so over the top. And it takes away from the essence of love. And that's why I like to call it Love Day, is just because it's a celebration of your love. And if you were doing that every single month, that's a really beautiful practice. I absolutely adore that. But for many people, when they're caught up with kids and animals and everything else, and they may neglect each other, it's almost that time of the year to go, hey, hi, remember you have someone else that you should focus only on them. Give them just that moment. Now, that's, as we say, we hope that you're doing that more often. But that's all it really should be, is just a pause to observe your love.
So for us, even later on in our relationship, anniversaries were important. So we chose those times, like the anniversary of our wedding or the anniversary of our relationship, which were on different days. Valentine's Day, you have to carve out the time to connect and to show appreciation for your love. Because when a relationship is fresh, it doesn't take that much work to stay connected. But the longer you've been in a relationship and building careers or children or just domestic life just happens. And so if you're not making the effort with significant days and making significant days important to you, then it's really easy to just become two ships in the night. I did ask a couple of friends and family, as we do, whether they were pro Valentine's or if they believed it was BS. And surprising, I'm going to keep it to 3. The feedback was that most people are pro love. And very much to what you said, if this is a day to celebrate the person that you love, that's close to you, firm believer in showing love and appreciation throughout the year, even if it occasionally requires gentle nudging your partner, I value this far more than the over commercialized, revenue-driven rituals that much of the public gets swept into through the brilliance of marketing. Another person said, I'm pro-love, and I think that it's important to allow your partner to show their expression of love. And if that's on this day or any other day, that's also okay.
Yeah.
I then also asked, whether their current view had changed over the years. And some people, like myself, have never really been a believer of Valentine's Day, while other people have said, sure, where you are in your relationship can absolutely have an impact on the importance of Valentine's Day. And so one comment was, when you're in an insecure relationship or when your relationship is insecure, then these days sometimes become a lot more significant because it's an opportunity for you to take a snapshot of where your relationship is and then ask yourself some really important questions. And I think that, having been in a long-term relationship, I can agree with that to a point. Not about the insecurity, but I suppose when you're looking to see whether or not things are still on course, then these days might become a lot more important, and how the expression of love is delivered.
Yeah. I think as well, then, the flip side, like any days that are so significant, people who then desire connection and desire to have a significant other, if they don't, it can be really, really tough. So these days then can exaggerate your feelings of loneliness or feeling isolated, and then it's being screamed at from every shop window, or from the minute that Christmas closed, Valentine's Day hopped on. And that is always something to be aware of, is that as fun and highlighted and wonderful as they can be, the flip side of that is people can be super sad. And truly, there is nothing in my world, nothing as intense as heartbreak. It's such an intense emotion. We've spoken about this a number of times, but for me, the act of separating hearts, disconnecting, is the most raw, most intense pain I've ever experienced in my life. And I found my cancer journey to be less intense for me than my heartbreak journey. That felt unbearable to me. And so, yeah, these days become days of reflection or days of profound enjoyment.
So let me pause there, because you are in a relationship now, but there were many years after a long-term relationship that you weren't in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Cast your mind back to those years. How did the day feel? Did you have a different feeling towards the day? Because I can tell you how I feel about Valentine's Day this year, but I would like you to first express yourself.
Look, I've become accustomed to containing both great pain and great joy. I can embody both of those in the same space. So on a day like Valentine's Day, especially when my heart was still broken, it's just raw and incredibly painful and reminiscing and heartache and all of those. But I would then use the opportunity to share love with other people, with my friends around me who were caring for me. So then that's maybe where Love Day was born, actually. It was just out of that sharing love, because love is such a powerful emotion and such a powerful action word. So I just used it differently. And then, yeah, when, of course, I was back in a space where I was sharing love with a significant romantic partner, it feels different, a little bit different now, because now I'm a bit older, and there she was smiling again.
I smiled before you said older.
Because there's different phases of feeling love in your life. When you're a kid, it's just because your hormones are everywhere. Everything is just so heightened and exciting, and it can be completely radical and crazy. And that happens anyway when you're older as well, at different times. But now my understanding of what healthy love looks like is so much more grounded and healthy, probably. And so now when it's a love day, I celebrate that love a little bit differently. Not that it's not going to be pulling out all the cliche, because I quite like a bit of kitchen cliche. It's fun for me, just 'cause it's so bad. So you got to just do it. But I can only celebrate the day if that's backed by the last year being constant love and romance shown. I think it must be the worst thing for people whose partner neglects them throughout the year and then comes on Valentine's Day and tries to make these great declarations of love, or they send love from the kids and the animals. The card is from the whole family. Like, take Love Day and celebrate your partner. And if you can't do that the rest of the year, oh my God, then don't expect to get laid on Valentine's Day. So wrong. So I don't know if that answers the question, but yes, I have had both moments of real pain, but even within that, I like to then use it to just share love with someone else or an animal.
Just a follow-up question. So during that time, was there any self-validation or validation connected to Valentine's Day? I mean, did you receive like any flowers or like anonymous, what would be the right word? Like anonymous attention on that day?
Yeah. Yes, I have. And it's often hard to receive if you're not receiving it from the person that you want to be receiving it from, or just depending what your situation is. So when it was very raw and I'd only just had my heart broken, any attention from someone else, you kind of like, it's nice, it feels nice, but in the same breath, I wasn't open to receiving anything anyway. So it was wasted on me. Mm-hmm. And I remember during that time, I had a wonderful person in my life who used to send me flowers all the time. They were in the flower business, and one of my love languages is flowers. Right from the get-go of my breakup, this person was so wonderful and just showered me with flowers all the time. My house was full. And when I look back now, I'm like, what a gift that was from the universe. That was my love language. I couldn't appreciate the person that was giving it to me as much, that they gave me something that I could receive. And that was the joy of flowers being around me. And that is something that people can do for someone who may have heartache during a day like Valentine's Day, is what other way can you show them that they're loved that may not be romantic love? And so that was really, really helpful to me. But in terms of other suitors, well, I had 9 years where I couldn't receive love or attention from anyone. It took me a really long time to heal that part, because I love very big and very deeply. I am like big expressions of deep love, and really struggle to let go of someone that I have taken into my heart. And so many years later, when I was ready to be brave enough to open myself up to romantic love again and to take a chance, it was It was a really scary thing. It was a really scary thing to do. And I cried many times along the way, just out of fear of being hurt. So I really understand that Love Day can be a great day or a very difficult day.
What Angela forgot to say is that she's a Scorpio sun. And so when she loves, it's deep into Middle Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so to open that heart up again took 9 years. Sweet Lord.
But you can know, like my sister knows, when I love you long time.
Long time.
Lifetimes.
You touched on your love language. I read the book maybe about 14 years ago. I'm very aware of my love language. And so you said yours is roses.
Which is?
Can I finish my question?
Yes.
You said yours is roses. I'm assuming that gifts is your love language, right?
Roses. Flowers. Flowers are my love language.
I mean, there's 5 love languages, right?
Acts of service.
Words of affirmation, quality time.
Physical touch.
What's the 5th one?
Acts of service, gifts, time, physical touch.
Words. It doesn't
Words
matter.
of affirmation. You said words of affirmation.
So my primary love language is quality time. And so very much to what you said, if the past year or the past couple of months have not been great, there's no point in arriving on a particular day with gifts and kind words and that. And unfortunately, I believe in truth. I believe that it's all over my face and it speaks through my energy. So there's no way of me holding out an emotion, especially if I feel because I think if someone has like emotionally neglected you, or there's just been a disconnect in the relationship for a couple of months, to show up can be really hurtful. To show up like big performance, and that for me that is like super hurtful. Actually, I am more offended and hurt by that than if you just acknowledge, look, things are not great where we're at. Let's do something low key and let's try and connect. That would be a lot more heartfelt for me, and a lot more appreciated than let's gloss it over. Because then I'm not ripping anything over. I'm ripping the carpet right out from underneath both of us. Nothing drama. I'm not those Leos at all. Not dramatic. No, not me. Not me.
No, I thought you said you believe in revenge. You know, that's what I thought was going to come out of your mouth. But then I remembered that I'm the Scorpio.
Revenge is best served cold.
A family trait.
My revenge is how I will ice you out. The sun gets off.
Yeah.
We just feel the chill. No, I'm not a revengeful person. I seek peace and solution. I'm solution orientated, along with my love language of quality time. Sis, as a strong, modern, independent woman of a certain age, you think there's a pressure on us to reject romance and big expressions, or let's not even call it big expressions of romance and love?
Yeah, I think that in a lot of ways, people have misunderstood what feminism is. There are different types, and that's a whole topic we can get into during Women's Month.
She's stealing my comments.
Well, there we go. We're aligned because I did not know you were going to say that. But what I would say is that, again, we are expected to show up in a certain way. So the idea would be if you're a strong, powerful woman, that you can't receive from a man or your significant other. And I think that buying into any of that just robs you of the opportunity to have life experiences. So I also look at a lot of my girlfriends who are single and independent, earn their own way, super successful, but show them a movie, I don't know, The Highlander or something like that, with some delicious warrior on a horse coming to rescue you and whip you off your feet. And it's amazing how quickly all these strong women are bowing down and racing off to Scotland to find themselves a warrior, you know, some Viking or some whatever they might be. My point is, because my sister is literally about to implode if you're watching this on YouTube, my point is that you can be strong and not be able to receive. The question is, are you able to receive love, gifts, expressions of whatever, or not? And do they come conditionally? Do they have to be conditional in a certain way? So I will only receive love if it's packaged like this. I will only receive X, Y, and Z if it's packaged like this. So you ask the universe for all these amazing things, the universe brings them to you, and you're like, no, but it's not in a kilt. Or no, it's not, it's not a vegetarian. Or, you know what I mean? It's like we lock ourselves in if we buy into what society tells us we need to be and how we need to show up in the world. That's my soapbox moment. Hee-haw.
Thank you. What was the question that you thought I asked you?
Well, no, you were saying, can you be a strong, independent, whatever woman and still be able to buy into the whole being swept off your feet, being the damsel in distress is what my brain heard.
So what I actually asked, but that's cool. Thank you for that moment. I mean, it's a beautiful moment. My question was, do you think as strong, independent women, we feel a pressure to reject romance and the cliche expressions of love?
That was my roundabout way of answering that.
Can you try directly?
You can do. If you decide that society is dictating how you be and how you show up. I think that we grew up, our generation, with the white picket fence, Prince Charming narrative. And that is ingrained in our subconscious bias anyway. When that gets smashed into 1,000 gazillion pieces and all of your fairy tale story happy endings turn out a little differently, you may have a different neural pathway. But then you could flip to the other side and say, I need to reject all of that. And so it's actually, how can you heal yourself? How can you go and heal yourself and just be open to what you might need differently at this point in your life today? And then you can see what comes to you. Otherwise, we're kind of getting stuck in what society has decided, and we're creating more biases. Well, if I'm strong, that means I can't be bought roses and chocolates and being taken on a dinner. When do we go, actually, here's where I'm at. This is what I desire in my life. Universe, what else is possible and what can I receive? And then have a look on that massive big buffet table and pick the bits you like.
Do you think that the older we get as women, and maybe when we've gone through a number of heartbreaks or a significant heartbreak, do you think the pressure is then more on to reject anything that doesn't show up as we expect it to show up?
I think the pressure might be on ourselves in terms of time, because we're like, I don't have time to waste. So unless you tick these boxes, I'm not interested. That can be beneficial, but it can also have the opposite effect, because again, you're blocking receiving. If you're asking for love, you need to know that the universe might send you a whole bunch of options. Be grateful for all of that comes to you. Just choose the bits that you like. It just gives you more choice. But if you block your receiving, saying, I will only receive this, or I'm at this point in my life, I only want this, then you're limiting yourself. So rather say, I would really desire this. This is what I'd like. I wonder what else can show up that you haven't yet even imagined or thought of. So my thing is just more, yes, the joy of getting older is that we don't want all the bullshit. we really don't want to muck around, and we feel a bit of that pressure. But the challenge is to have the youthfulness of dreaming, to pull on that fun element of ourselves, because it's the fun that disappears. How can we pull that in and then look at our receiving?
I think that's a good point to kick off my view on this, because
Yeah.
I think your healing and how you go about healing after heartbreak will dictate or guide how you are then open to receiving love. And let's not take away how devastating a failed relationship is, especially a long-term relationship. And long-term can be, we're not saying it has to be 18 years.
It's intensity.
Intensity, right? So I think it depends on how you've approached your healing. Have you approached your healing in terms of what I learned from this and how do I allow this to expand me? Or is your healing from, I need to get through this so that I don't experience this again? And I think maybe that's the difference between youth and experience, is that you haven't gone through those big tragedies and had your heart ripped out and dreamed about what the future looks like with someone else, and then wake up one morning and realize, okay, that dream is no longer a possibility. Whereas when you're slightly older, or if you have gone through those experiences, whether it's through death or choice or whatever it is, you get to a point in your healing where you have to figure out, are you healing to be a better version of yourself and to get more connected with yourself and actually maybe get to a point of self-love that will allow you to choose differently? Or do you get to a point where you're so afraid of being hurt again that you lock yourself up a little bit? And that's going to help you or limit you in terms of what your choices around love might be. So I understand, like from a youth perspective, you haven't gone through that experience. So you're showing up more adventurous and yes, I'm going to try whatever. Or I'm more open to kissing frogs and finding my prince or princess charming. When you're a little bit older, I don't know if it's about time. It's just that you've had life experience and now you're looking ahead of you going, do I want to keep repeating this? But I think it comes down to, we have to learn to love ourselves and then make a choice. And loving yourself is pretty damn hard. I know for me, loving myself wasn't even something that I thought of. It was something that I gave out. And depending on how people loved me was how I received validation. And the last year, I really had to work on loving myself and making a choice to like all parts of myself, even the parts that are difficult and challenging and or whatever the like wording might be around that. But really just going, I can change at any time. I can evolve. I can expand. I can choose differently for me. And how that is expressed through love can also change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head in that if we cannot love ourselves, and we've heard this so many times, but if we cannot truly love ourselves, how can we love another, or how can we receive love? And that is easier said than done when your heart is broken. I remember when my heart was broken the most recent time, I couldn't walk past my reflection in a shop window, let alone look in a mirror, because I felt so rejected. I felt so unlovable that I couldn't look at myself because I despised the reflection that I saw. And that took a lot of work. And it's the simple little things. I mean, after a lot of work, of just being able to look at yourself when you get to the point then of going, okay, but now how can I truly love myself? And that is those things we've spoken about. Nurturing your own body. How can you let someone else nurture and love your body if you can't do that for yourself? The things you do to take care of your body. If no one was ever going to be around again and only you had you, and whatever money you were going to spend, whatever was just on you, how would you love and care for yourself? Because you're giving the universe a clear indication then of what you are willing to receive from another. So with everything, it starts within. It starts with us first.
I had a conversation, or I asked a question to a friend recently who doesn't have children, whether or not he would have wanted to have children. And his answer was yes. Well, it wasn't a yes. It was if he had, he would have liked to have had a daughter because he would like to have taught her what the baseline of love should be that she should expect from, for him, it was a man. And I thought it was a super interesting comment that he made, particularly from this person. A lot of how we accept love and what our baseline is from nurture, from our upbringing and what we see in our formative years in terms of our parents' relationships, and then the things that are not necessarily told to us, but the things that we're witnessing. Maybe that's what heartbreak or opportunity for a new chapter gives you in terms of your healing, is an opportunity to reset that baseline of what love looks like or what it should look like.
Yeah. What healthy love looks like.
Yeah. And healthy love has to start with you. It can't be out anyone else. That can only be an extension of your relationship with love.
So maybe that should be our question, is when it comes to Valentine's Day, not so much what can I receive from other people, but what can I give to myself on Valentine's Day? What kind of love do I need to give to myself? Or what is it that I've got to give to me to love myself more, to express love to myself more? Because love it's a doing word. So what is that thing that we could do for ourselves? I'm very aware that we talk about the work that we put in. And I'm wondering, for those of you who are listening, do you know, if you're not already on a healing journey, or you've never kind of done reflective work or gone inwards, in inverted commas, do you know where to even start with that? Let us know in the chat, because we talk about these healing things that we do, but I'm aware that not everyone may know what that means. So let us know, and let us know if you want us to unpack that a little bit more in another episode sometime.
Okay, last comments or remarks about Valentine's Day, Love Day, or love. We all love love.
It must be love, love, love. Well, you know what I think that comes to mind is that love in of itself is such a powerful thing. It's just the most powerful thing. So don't hate on love, because Valentine's Day and the commercialism of it may have tainted that for you, or someone else may have robbed you of enjoying that word. It's a very powerful, beautiful thing. And so I would just really encourage us all to see how we can love ourselves more, because that way we can spread more love in the world, if that's what we desire to do. I sound like Miss Universe. I'm just going to start waving.
Yeah, there we go. I would say be a rebel in love. In a world that puts so much pressure on us to be a little bit more cynical and creates division, etc. Fuck that. Be a rebel in love and let it start with you. Like, fly that love flag. And it doesn't have to be on Valentine's Day. It can be any day. It can be every day. It can be while you're putting on your body cream or your face for the morning. You know, just find ways of showing love, expressing love, and flying that love flag. More of us are pro-love than we are not. The conversation around Valentine's Day, most of us agree that it's highly commercialized, but sometimes it's just what people need in order to express themselves. Not everyone is comfortable expressing their emotions. And so while we say it's commercialized, this might just be that opportunity for someone to show up being a little bit more romantic, taking you for dinner, giving you chocolates, buying you flowers. It might just be sincere. So be a rebel and fly that love flag.
And as we're closing off, to say that instead of necessarily like countering Love Day with thoughts of the opposite, nowadays a lot of the younger generation are reinventing this day. So they take it as a day for a whole bunch of friends to get together and do something cool. They'll go to pottery classes or go to chocolate making experiences or just get together and have fun. You're not going to make your heartbreak go away by hating on love. Don't hate on love. As my sister says, be a rebel for love.
Not a Red Bull, a rebel.
Don't give any free advertising away here. Well, please let us know in the chat how you celebrate love and whether you are pro or anti Valentine's Day to celebrate love. And if you want to know more about this inner work that we keep talking about.
Let's go for tequila.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers to love. Love, love.
Baby. Oh.
Right on, rebels. Thank you for listening. If you have comments, suggestions, feedback, please email us at notuspod@gmail.com. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And you can listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and watch us on YouTube. Until we chat again next week, bye for now.
Bye.